Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. Today we are going to be using the pate choux we made from Ashley Christensen and Caitlin Golin's It's Always Freezer Season, and we're going to be making Poole's 3-cheese gougère. Now, this uses the same 3 cheeses that Poole's Diner uses in their absolutely delicious macaroni au gratin, which everybody loves. We've made it. I will link it above. It is by far my favorite mac and cheese, and my kids have grown to actually like it, which is great because they honestly usually prefer the box stuff, but they will eat this now. We make it a lot at home. In fact, when we buy the cheese, we freeze cheese in the amounts that you need for that recipe in a bag in the freezer. So we can just make it anytime we want, because you need that cheese, you need some salt, you need some cream, and you need some macaroni, and that is it. Anyway, so we have those 3 cheeses already grated and measured here. So we have sharp cheddar. This is a 3-year aged white cheddar. We have Grana Padano and Jarlsberg. Same cheeses. I'm not sure about the ratios in the mac and cheese versus this, but whatever. Anyway, but we did make, well, I didn't. My assistant made up a few bags of this after we grated what we needed for this recipe. But we're going to mix them all up together as well as we can, just like you do when you make the mac and cheese. Try to get these distributed. They were a little warm still. Definitely want to keep these in the refrigerator until you're ready for them, because you need these mixed up because you're just using them all together, and you need to keep some held back to put on top of the gougère before you bake them. So you kind of want it all mixed up. So we did not freeze this pate choux, which is something you can do, but we will be freezing whatever gougère are left over after we're done eating them. My husband assures me that there will be none, but usually we do have at least a few left over. And for these, you can freeze them pre-baked and then just reheat them in the oven for a few minutes until they're hot and they will crisp up. That's what we do when we have them left over. We've had them left over a few times, and if you heat them up in the oven, you can re-crisp them and they'll be pretty good. But in this case, we usually just refrigerate them, but we're going to freeze them this time. All right, so that's mixed up as much as I possibly can. So we've got our pate choux still in here, so we're just gonna put it in here and we're gonna mix it on low, and we're going to put, in fact, I'm just gonna put about 2/3 of this into our pate choux and save the rest for sprinkling on top. I think I got a little bit of pate choux on there. There we go. So we're going to mix this in. All right, so that's pretty much done since we had the pate choux pre-made. There are a couple other recipes in the book for that pate choux, so we will separate those out just to make it easier to link you to it. Anyway, so I'm going to scrape as much as I can off of here. And then she says to put this in a pastry bag, which is not my thing at all. We don't really care if it's a little, shall we say, rustic. So we're just gonna put it into a zip top bag and cut off the corner and pipe it from there. So let me get all that set up. Okay, so we have our pastry bag, close enough, here with all of our pâte à choux, gougère dough in it. And we're supposed to put this, pipe this 2 inches apart, tablespoon sized mounds. Let me get, she says this will take 2 baking sheets. So these are the baking sheets I have left. That's okay. And yeah, I think I'm ready. I know that it's going to be messy once I get this started to like switch to another one. So I might as well have them both here. So I'm going to be going probably all around this location, but trying to make it so that I have about a 1/2 inch and about a tablespoon size. But I've done this with a scoop as well, and that worked fine for our purposes. But these will puff. That is the point. Cook these. Oh yeah, speaking of, I have my oven heated to 400 degrees to bake these. It's supposed to make 20 something of them, but I think I might get more than that. Don't know. Now that we've piped them all out, I got how many? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 29. I think I was supposed to make about 25. So maybe some of mine are a little small. Oh well. We are going to sprinkle the rest of our cheese that we had reserved on top of the gougère. It'll make a nice crispy, cheesy top. I'm trying to make sure I have enough for all of them. I can always come back and add more later. So these are gonna go into the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, of course, for about 22 minutes. They'll be puffed and golden brown, and I'm gonna have to put mine on 2 different racks and then rotate it because yeah, they won't both fit on one rack. So I'm gonna definitely move them around in the oven as they bake. So I'm probably gonna cook it for about 11 minutes and then finish it out, and then switch them around and then finish it out. So let me set up my oven real quick. So I'll have one that's a little closer to the bottom, one that's a little closer to the top, but not on the very top or very bottom of the rack. Actually, it's kind of the very bottom rack. Anyway, so we'll be back and show you exactly what they look like when they come out of the oven and let you know what we think in just a minute. On this episode of Cooking the Books with Heather, you watched me make Poole's 3-cheese gougère from this, no, not This Will Make You Taste Good, from Ashley Christensen and Caitlin Golan's It's Always Freezer Season. And we haven't frozen any of this yet, but for these, you are supposed to let them cool all the way and then freeze them on a sheet so that they, won't get all, won't crush each other up while they freeze. So I think she calls it a formative freeze. So you freeze them on a baking sheet, kind of like this, and then you reheat them in a 350 degree oven for 8 to 10 minutes, and then they will be pretty much just like they are when they come out of the oven. So if we have any left, we're going to freeze these. We'll see. Whole family really likes gougère. We've made at least 2 other recipes. These ones remind me more of the ones from Drinking French because of their cheese gougère without the sausage. We like the ones with the sausage in them. Actually, we've made 3 recipes, I think. because I think we made one from Outlander Kitchen as well. So we really like gougère, and that's why we've made them so often. I did end up having to bake these a little bit longer. I'm not sure if I made mine a little too big or they're inconsistent size. They're a little bit inconsistent, whatever. That's kind of why I like using a disher for those. It's a little bit easier to have a consistent size with that. But we love them. We're going to enjoy them, and with a little bit of wine, have a little snack, and be ready for dinner later. If you enjoyed watching me make this, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and come back and watch me make something else next week.